ThaBoxingvoice.com here with one of our favorite, Robert Garcia. How you doing?
Thank you, my man. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for your time. First off, obviously, main event this weekend, Spence-Porter. Errol Spence's last fight was against your younger brother, Mikey.
Correct.
How do you see this weekend's matchup play out? The sports books really have Sean Porter a very big underdog. Do you really see that fight? What are your thoughts on how it plays out?
I think it's going to be a great fight. I think Spence wins by decision, but an underdog that bad, I don't know why they're not giving Porter any chance. I think Porter's style is one of those styles that could give trouble to anybody, especially if he just finds his way in and makes it an ugly, dirty, you could say. It could give anybody troubles. We've seen it before. Where you don't have to be very talented, but if you just put that pressure, you could give the most talented fighter trouble. It's gonna be an interesting fight. I pick Spence by decision, but it's gonna be interesting to see what Porter does.
Would you be surprised if he stops him or knocks him out?
I would be surprised. I think Porter's tough. Could take a punch, even though he's been dropped. That doesn't mean he can't take a punch. I think it's going to be a decision, but if Spence does knock him out, then I will be surprised.
Now, obviously, in his fight with Mikey, a lot would say that Mikey was the biggest name. I mean, the only other name you could really say that Errol's faced was Kell Brook.
Correct.
Do you feel that Errol should get respect for that fight, given that Mikey was moving up to weight divisions? Do you feel like he needs to be given credit for that?
I think they should. Mikey was and still is one of the best fighters in the world. Mikey's the one that called him out. Mikey's the one that wanted that challenge. So Errol needs to get that respect. He clearly beat one of the best fighters in the world. It's not his fault that Mikey challenged him and Mikey moved up in weight. It was a huge event, big fight. So I think he deserves that credit.
What's next for Mikey?
Right now, as of now, there's nothing lined up. We're hoping he fights before the end of the year, but we only got like 3 more months in the year, so we should know something soon. If not, well, we'll prepare for something next year. But as of right now, there's nothing really lined up.
Sean Gibbons, very close in relation, working with Manny Pacquiao, says that Manny's gonna face a Garcia next, whether it be Mikey or Danny. Is that really what Mikey's kind of holding off on?
Well, Mikey doesn't really say much about it because I know he doesn't want to say something before it's even official. But if we're not getting a date to fight before the end of the year, which we would love him to fight, then maybe that's the reason. Cause he's waiting for maybe Pacquiao's gonna make his decision after the Porter Spence fight also, because that's another option that he might take. We're just waiting. Hopefully soon we'll know. And if it is Pacquiao, then we'll prepare for Pacquiao.
Now, a lot of people have been giving that potential matchup some criticism, and I want your thoughts, because many people thought that Mikey lost just about every round to Errol.
Correct.
And they're like, if he's coming off of a loss like that, what has he done to deserve a matchup with Manny coming, with no fight in between, nothing? What are your thoughts on that?
And you know what? I'm one of those persons that, not because of the loss and what did he do to deserve a fight against Pacquiao, because it's a business, and if there's no other names, there's no other big names to give Pacquiao a big fight, a big numbers on pay-per-view, then Mikey might be the right fighter. But me, my dad, my son, as Mikey's coach, we would want Mikey to go in there against Pacquiao with the win behind his back, not a loss. Besides that, if the fight with Pacquiao happens, it's not going to be till next year. So it would be pretty much a whole year without fighting, and to come back with 1 year inactivity and a loss, it just wouldn't be. I just wouldn't want that for Mikey as a fighter.
It's not ideal.
It's not ideal. business-wise, will Mikey maybe generate more than against the Danny Garcia? Maybe. Will it generate more against anybody else? Maybe it will. Business-wise, Pacquiao's taking the best, business decision for himself. But I would like Mikey to come back against Pacquiao, if that happens, with a win. And that's what we're hoping, that he fights before the end of the year.
So do you think that if Manny were to choose Mikey, do you think it'd be on the business side, or do you think he'd feel that maybe Mikey is the easier of the two opponents? I mean, he was ringside for the Mikey and Errol fight. Manny was.
I think it's more of the business side. I think he knows styles make fights, and Mikey has a good style where he's patient. That's the style like a Marcus who has given Pacquiao trouble all the time.
Right.
Pacquiao doesn't want to fight the easiest fight. He's up for challenges. I think it's more about who generates the most and which fight's going to be bigger. Pacquiao has already proved, he's fought guys at 154, so it's not like he's afraid of anybody else, or he wants to take Mikey because he's the easiest fight. He just fought Thurman, who a lot of people thought it was a big risk for Manny Pacquiao. I think Pacquiao is willing to fight anybody, but it's also he's also in this business to make money, and if the fight against Mikey is the one that business-wise makes the most sense, then he's going to do it.
Now let me ask you this: obviously, Errol is a natural welterweight. He's a natural 147-pounder. Manny Pacquiao is not, right? Manny Pacquiao, many people believe that he could still make the maybe even lightweight limit.
Correct.
Given that Mikey's a true lightweight, and Pacquiao's a natural smaller opponent, whether 135 or 140, whatever, do you feel that maybe the Pacquiao fight would be a better matchup for Mikey than what Errol was?
That's the only fight at welterweight that I would like for Mikey. We've told Mikey many times, that before the Errol Spence, don't do it. We told him that's just it's too much of a risk. Plus, you're going in against the best welterweight, a solid welterweight. Pacquiao has moved up from flyweight. And even though he's not a flyweight anymore, but he is maybe a bit shorter than Mikey. He doesn't have that long reach advantage, so I think it will make it a pretty even fight, and that's probably the best fight for Mikey. If he fights Pacquiao, that's the only fight at welterweight that I would really want to see Mikey fight. Besides that, I think Mikey belongs at 140, even 135.
Now I gotta ask. Obviously, Mikey moved up 2 divisions earlier in the year. Another Mexican fighter moving up 2 divisions is Canelo Alvarez.
Correct.
To challenge Sergey Kovalev. What are your thoughts on that? How do you break that fight down? A lot of people feel that, to include myself, that Canelo, he is picking the biggest name at 175, but probably the easiest of the champions. And that's no disrespect to Kovalev, but that's just my thoughts. How do you see that?
No disrespect to Kovalev, because I know Kovalev. He trains actually in my former gym in Oxnard, and I know him personally even better than I know Canelo. And I don't want to disrespect him, but yes, I think Canelo picked the biggest name, but yeah, the least risk. But he's still a big name, and he's still the crusher. He's still a world champion. I think it's gonna be a huge fight. I think Canelo wins, and I think he stops him. But it's gonna be one of those fights where Canelo gets the credit that he deserves. A lot of people haven't really given him that credit. I don't know, because of the catch weights or whatever it is, the clauses that he puts in the contracts. But
there's no rehydration.
I don't think so. I don't think so. No, not at all. Right. So I think he's doing the right thing. That way, every Mexican fan that has maybe been against him because of that, now they're gonna see that he didn't want to do it, and he beat a solid light heavyweight.
Do you feel like he has to prove a point, given his failed test that he had? A lot of people are still discrediting what he has accomplished due to that. Do you feel that he's almost like having to reprove himself?
I don't think he thinks like that, because he cares less what people say. I know that as a fighter, he wants obviously people to love and respect him, but whatever he hears out on the outside, he doesn't really care. He's got the best contract in sports. He's got everything he wants, but this win would definitely put him in that level where why would somebody talk bad about him? Why would somebody say something bad when he just moved up 2 divisions to fight and beat somebody like the Crusher?
Now, before the year is out, we have 2 big heavyweight matchups. November 23rd, Wilder-Ortiz. In my opinion, Wilder faced the most adversity when fighting Luis-Ortiz. And then December 7th, we got the rematch in AJ and Aj-Ruiz. Break each of those fights down. Both of them are rematches.
Look, both are great fights. You know, Ortiz gave some trouble to Wilder the first time. Eventually, Wilder knocked him out, and I think this fight is going to be a fight where Ortiz probably learned a lot, and is going to be maybe in better shape. It'll be interesting. I still pick Wilder. I think the power he's got is just unbelievable. On the Ruiz Joshua fight, I think it's gonna be a little bit harder for Ruiz, but I still pick Ruiz by knockout. But I think it's gonna be a little bit more difficult. Even though I believe he already took Joshua's mental, beat him already, and his heart. I think he already dominated him there. I think he's still gonna give him some trouble for a few rounds, but eventually Ruiz is gonna dominate.
What are your thoughts to the people that say that maybe the money and the fame have gotten a little bit to Aj-Ruiz?
Look, because people seen him celebrate his birthday, that doesn't mean he's out there partying. He's already in Guadalajara training for his fight. You know, the fight's not till December, and I know his trainer Manny. He trains his fighters very hard. You know, because you see a video of somebody partying. You know, because you're celebrating your birthday, that doesn't mean you're out there partying. You know, but that's what everybody wants to say and everybody wants to believe. I think he's gonna be in better shape this time. I know he's got a great team behind him. Manny Robles is gonna do his job. Estrella Hasso is gonna do his part, and they're gonna take Ruiz in the best shape of his life.
Robert Garcia.
Oh, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingvoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, entitled betting shows. The list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.